What is going up, Jerron Mob? It's your Don JAHRONMON back at it again with another episode of NBA Kicks, the show where we count down the 10 best sneakers in the NBA every single week of the season. This week's episode is a pretty interesting one because it is dominated by one individual. I know I tried to limit how much a player can be on one episode, but this guy just had so many awesome sneakers. I had to give him multiple spots on the list. But before we get to that list, I do have a quick announcement to make. I'm going to be holding a giveaway, which is giving away not just one, but 2 City Edition uniforms of the winner's choice. So whatever team you guys want, the details on how to enter this giveaway are not in this video. It's gonna be in my next video, which I'm going to rank every City Edition jersey of this season. So if you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so when that next video drops, you're notified. You can enter the giveaway. It's gonna be real simple, real easy. It's not gonna be complicated, but just make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on so you know when to enter the giveaway. But until then, sit back, relax, maybe go grab a snack, some Chick-fil-A, some Wendy's, McDonald's. Go ahead, treat yourself because a brand new episode of NBA Kicks starts right now. Starting off the list at number 10, we have Montrezl Harrell with the Reebok Zig Encore. So the Zig Encore dropped way back in 2011. So technically, it's a rare sneaker because we literally never see them on the court anymore, but not for the reason that you think. The Zig Encore was infamously one of the worst Encore performers in its day, and obviously it hasn't aged well over time. So just based on pure shock alone, I had to give these a spot on this week's list because I don't know why Trez would want to wear these bricks. Maybe it's the John Wall connection with the Wizards since these were technically his second signature sneaker. Or maybe Trez has some personal connection to the shoe like he loved playing in them during high school. Either way, I just had to give these some love even though the sneaker community did love to hate on them because this is no doubt an extremely rare sighting, especially in this Fresh Prince inspired colorway. But seriously, these sucked. Next up at number 9, we have Draymond Green with the Converse All-Star BB Jet. The BB Jet is one of the newer silhouettes from Converse basketball, and even though visual appeal is always suggestive, the tech in these joints is actually pretty interesting. The BB Jet features a molded fiberglass speed plate as well as Zoom Air in both the heel and forefoot, so at $110, these could provide some good value, but in terms of visuals and aesthetic, these offer an interesting look as well with an embossed black upper, as well as colorful accents throughout the silhouette, which features a Peace and Unity logo on the back of the heel. These might not be Converse basketball's flagship model, but for something in their mid-tier lineup, they don't look half bad, and they definitely caught my eye last week, so I just had to put them on the list. Next up at number 8, we have Deandre Bembry with the Nike Air Penny 3. Here's another sneaker that you don't see very often these days, but unlike Trez's Zig Encores, the Air Penny 3 is actually a banger on the court if you can get past that infamous break-in time. Bembry rocks a blue, red, and black colorway, which I think looks awesome on the hardwood, but whether you like this colorway or not, you have to give Deandre some props here for rocking something unique, as well as giving us a small dose of nostalgia, which is exactly why you're seeing them here at the number 8 spot. Coming in at number 7, we have Lou Williams with a mystery peak basketball silhouette. Now, I tried really hard to figure out what exactly this model is called. I mean, trust me guys, I went through the far reaches of this sneaker internet, but I couldn't come up with anything. So even though I don't know exactly what the name of this model is, that doesn't take away from their craziness. Using an orange, black, and yellow color scheme alongside a ton of patterns, graphics, and just interesting design elements that remind me of so many things. But Charlie Brown and Tigers were definitely the 2 first things that came to my mind when I saw these. But again, I couldn't really find anything about these online. so I'm not too sure what the inspiration behind the design is, but nonetheless, these definitely stand out on the court. And if you haven't tried a peak basketball sneaker before, you should definitely give them a shot. The Tony Parker signature line was excellent during its peak. See what I did there? Next up at number 6, we have Enos Kanter with a custom pair of Air Jordan 13s. So a few weeks ago, Enos Kanter was on NBA Kicks with a custom pair of shoes that spoke out against modern day slavery when manufacturing Nike sneakers. And I actually gave both Enos and the NBA props for how they handled the whole situation. But this week, with more information, some things have changed. First of all, Kanter says that he was actually pressured by 2 league officials who pleaded and begged him not to wear the custom pair of kicks, which read free to bet. But ultimately, those 2 league officials backed off after Kanter asked if he was breaking any rules, to which those league officials said no. Now, it is important to note that this is all on Kanter's account. This is his side of the story, but he did say that those 2 league officials did apologize after the game, kind of admitting that they were on the wrong side of this whole situation. So I really have no reason not to believe Kanter, but this week he's back at it again with another pair of custom kicks that calls out China and LeBron James. During warm-ups before his game against the Lakers, Kanter wore a custom colorway that depicts LeBron being crowned by the president of China, as well as calling LeBron out for not being fully educated on the situation, or maybe he's assuming that he is, but is choosing to ignore it. A few days later, Kanter switched things up with a custom pair of 13s, which calls for the upcoming Winter Olympics in Beijing to be shut down until the situation in Uyghur is resolved. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I know everything that is going on with China, Uyghur, the working conditions of Nike, but at the same time, I'm also not in the business of blaming anyone, kind of like how Kanter did with LeBron. I understand that Kanter wants Nike's biggest and brightest star to speak up. That would do so much for the movement, but we all know that Kanter has a less than rosy history with LeBron, and he also started calling out Michael Jordan for his contributions or lack of to the black community. So it just looks like Kanter is going GOAT hunting, which I think for most people, they will just shrug that off, which is unfortunate because Kanter is just speaking up for justice of other people. So it's sad to see this whole thing become kind of like a Kanter versus LeBron or Kanter versus Jordan thing, because that's not what this is about. So I personally want to give credit to Kanter for using his platform and his First Amendment to stand up for what he believes in. Sometimes sneakers can be more than just things you put on your feet, and Kanter is showcasing that perfectly with these custom colorways. Next up at number 5, we have Montrezl Harrell with the Air Jordan 21. So the 21s dropped in that really weird period for Jordan Brand where Michael was finally done playing basketball, so he was no longer playing in the new flagship Air Jordan silhouette. So these were never really that popular to begin with, and honestly, I haven't really thought about them until I saw Trez rock them last week. But did you know that the 21's resale value is actually insane? The lowest price that I could find for a new pair of red suede 21s was $750, which again is just insane, but it honestly kind of makes sense since the 21s were never retroed, so all we have are the original releases, and how many of those OGs are in perfect or even good condition? Probably not a lot. So the fact that Trez is rocking these on the court in his size is even more impressive than I would have thought. And plus, I actually like how the 21s look. To me, they perfectly capture the era that they were released in, which gives me nostalgia. The materials are on point. That carbon fiber shank is super sexy. I honestly think I want Jordan Brand to retro the 21s. Do you? Next up at number 4, we have Montrezl Harrell again with the Reebok Answer 4. A few weeks ago, we had Dwight Howard on NBA Kicks with a black hot rod colorway of one of the most comfortable basketball sneakers of all time. But this week, Montrezl Harrell rocks an alternate white pair, which could only mean one thing. We got ourselves a sneaker battle. Sneaker battle! Let me know in the comment section below which pair of Answer 4s you prefer, the white or the black. I'm already on record saying that Dwight's black pair would look so much better if that purple overlay was black, but taking a look at Trez's white pair, I have to say those are pretty clean as well, so it is really close, but I think I'm going to lean slightly towards the white pair. I mean, come on, those green and blue flames are too cold or hot, whichever way you want to put it. I like the white pair. What about you? Next up at number 3, we have Montrezl Harrell again with the Nike LeBron 4. Now, what did I tell you? Montrez absolutely came with the heat last week, and he secures his 4th spot on this week's episode with an OG pair of one of my favorite LeBrons of all time. The LeBron 4 has always been one of the most unique silhouettes in the entire signature line, and for me, it's one of those sneakers that dropped during my teen years, so it'll always give me that strong sense of nostalgia. And even though Trez didn't wear my favorite LeBron 4 colorway, it's still great to see them back on the court. And what's even more impressive is how many different silhouettes Montrez is comfortable wearing. I mean, I'm a 1, maybe 2 shoe type of guy when it comes to my on-court kicks, but Trez seems to rock whatever he pleases, and honestly, I'm here for it. Coming in as our runner-up, we have PJ Tucker with a PE of the Nike Kobe 6 Pro Tro. So if you've been following NBA kicks since at least last season, chances are you've probably already seen this insane player exclusive colorway of 6s, but I still can't get over just how awesome this colorway is. And even though we did have some new Kobe 6s from Trevor Ariza and PJ, I just couldn't in good faith put those 2 sneakers above these. Using a bright crimson and sky blue color scheme, this colorway's defining feature has to be that floral pattern on the heel cup, which is just implemented elegantly and not overdone at all. Everything from the pattern to the color scheme is just absolutely on point here, and it blows my mind that Nike hasn't dropped these at all. I know PJ might not be the biggest name, but for those who are in the sneaker community, we all know PJ is the undisputed sneaker king, so I think a limited release at the very least is warranted here. But the whole Kobe estate and Nike situation does make things a little more complicated. But I think I can speak on behalf of all Kobe and sneaker fans that we need these in our life, because these are perhaps the best new colorway of Kobe 6s that we've ever seen. Take a good look, guys. This is about as close you're gonna get to owning these. Finally, at number 1, we have Carmelo Anthony with a new PE of Air Jordan 36s. Carmelo has been on fire to start the season, and I personally hope that he wins the 6th Man of the Year award, because if he wins that award as well as a title with the Lakers this season, that would make Carmelo one of the most decorated basketball players we have ever seen in terms of on-court success as well as accolades. But we're just gonna have to wait and see if he continues playing this well, if the Lakers could get back on track into title contention. But until all that sorts itself out, let's talk about his kicks. This PE uses an absolutely beautiful gradient upper, which has some texture to it that reminds me of a canvas blanket or maybe even a poncho, especially with that sunset style color scheme. But the midsole has a subtle iridescent effect to it, which really adds some depth, and the University Gold hits throughout offer some pop, while everything is rounded out with classic black. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of here is that marbled gray midsole. I would have gone with a black or maybe a translucent rubber, but nonetheless, this was by far my favorite pair of kicks last week, and that's why I'm putting them at the number 1 spot as the best sneaker worn in the NBA during week 4 of the 2021-22 season. So there you guys have it. That pretty much takes care of this video. If you enjoyed it, drop your boy a like because it helps me out a lot. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that City Edition jersey giveaway. My name's Jaron. It's great having you. Catch you guys in next week's episode. Peace.